Good afternoon, everybody. The first quarter-final of the 1979 Cricket World Cup was played today. England versus Ireland at Candy. It's knockout cricket now. This is when the tournament really starts to kick off. And it was played at Candy. England won the toss. This was the outcome. England won the toss and elected to bowl first on a hard, dry surface. The pitch was a lot better in Candy than obviously that infamous pitch at Colombo a few days ago, which people still talking about. But it was a similar outcome. The only difference is, instead of getting bowled out in 10 overs, Ireland lasted 36 overs exactly. The second lowest total in World Cup history of just 45. A huge disappointment for Ireland, who have brought so much to this World Cup, but their batting has got worse as the tournament's progressed. There's nothing there. I mean, 5 for Christopher Chappell, 3 for Glenn Roy-Seeley, 100 balls for 21 for Franklin Dennis. England gave nothing away. England were absolutely ruthless. England bowled exceptional on this pitch. I mean, 4-0 for Tucker Javed and John Vaughan. Cecil Marshall back in the side after two games out due to injury. He couldn't get his form going. He was out for 2. There was ducks as well for the captain, Brian Merceret, and Martin Stead. Jitan Patel got 1. Another duck for Robert Callender. And John Valentine got 3 not out. Absolutely ruthless. 36 overs it took, so it's a painstaking effort. But there's the difference. They battled for 36 overs, whereas the Rebel South 11 went out in just 10 overs, and just every time they hit the ball, it just went to a slip or the ball died. But this pitch played pretty well throughout, to be honest with you. Jeffrey Boycott's becoming a bit of a partnership breaker. You felt that if he did take his 2 for 3, then they probably could have batted out before 50 overs and made about 120 or something like that, similar to what they got against the West Indies. But those 2 wickets made it very difficult for the Irish. 12 for 1 for Ian Botham, 1 for 0 for Jeff Miller. He didn't have to really bowl that much. 5 for 1 for Mike Hendrick. Moves on to 14 wickets in the tournament. Moves on to 15 wickets in the tournament now. So now he's 4. Wait a moment. Sorry, I'm getting confused here. No, he's moved on to 14 wickets in the tournament now. So he's 4 behind the leading wicket taker in Alan Hurst. But look at those bowling figures. 3 for 11 for Bob Willis. He's been criticised for being a bit expensive this World Cup, but that's answered his critics. And 3 for 8 for Chris Old, who bowled fantastically. 6 wickets between those two. 45 all out. England chased runs comfortably in the end. A little bit apprehensive at times. It took them 11 overs to knock the runs off. 46 for 2. But a second consecutive duck for Mike Brearley. He's really struggling. And Derek Randall's woeful World Cup continues. Out for 5. Boycott got 14 not out of 28 deliveries. And 21 off just 25 deliveries for Graham Gooch. He'll be happy to get a not out in the end, just to up his average just a little bit. Ireland bowlers really gave it their all, to be honest with you. They had nothing to lose, really. 20 for 1 for John Valentine. Robert Callender also took away at 14 for 1, and Martin Stead came on for about 5 for an over and went for 6 runs for no wicket. So the final summary of this first quarter final: an emphatic win for England. Won the toss, let them bowl on a hard, dry pitch. We're thinking a little bit of a dodgy decision, maybe a bit of a dangerous decision, but he said because of his way his team struggled against Pakistan, he preferred to chase. Even on a pitch like this, he said the pitch wouldn't change that much. It didn't. Ireland all out for 45, their lowest ever total in one-day internationals and the second lowest total in one-day international history. England chased runs down in just 11 overs, 46 for 2. England win by 8 wickets, and the man of the match for his 3 for 11 off 9.3 overs is Bob Willis. This is what it means for England. England, first team to reach the World Cup semi-finals. Tomorrow's match, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. Sorry about that. Tomorrow's match, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. Still don't know about the host nation yet of the 1983 World Cup. I mean, we'll talk about that in a moment, but England, the first team to reach the semi-finals. They'll either play Sri Lanka or New Zealand in the first semi-final. Sri Lanka and New Zealand play tomorrow in the second quarter-final. That's a difficult one to call, I think. Let's have a look at the star players. They haven't really had to... the bowlers have all had pretty good games. But let's have a look at the tournament averages for the England players now. And then we'll get on to talk about other things. That average has gone down now. 27. He really has struggled in this tournament. He hasn't got a great average overall. I think 27 is his normal average in one-day cricket anyway. But he's got 2 ducks in a row now, Mike, really. So he'll be going into that semi-final low on confidence. His average has gone up to 38 now. Nearly 200 runs in the competition for Graham Gooch. He's had a solid tournament, if not unspectacular, but their batting's not been the strong point. This has been their strong point. 14 wickets in the tournament now for Chris Holt, with those 3 wickets. So he's gone level, I think, with Mike Hendrick, I think. So he's having a spectacular tournament. 3 wickets for Bob Willis. His average has now gone down to... Sorry, I didn't check his average. His average is 10, Chris Holt. Average gone down to 15 now. Bob Willis, 11 wickets in 6 matches. And Hendrick took another wicket. He's actually got 15 wickets in the tournament now in 6 games. And he's 4 behind. He's only 3 behind... just double check. Is he 3 behind him? Yeah, he's only 3 behind... He's only 3 behind Alan Hurst, and he's averaging 9 with a ball, 15 wickets in 6 matches. He's had an absolute stunning tournament, along with Chris Holt and Bob Willis, and Ian Botham's moved on to 13 wickets. So they've got those 4 bowlers are all in the joint in the leading wicket takers list. So England are through to another World Cup semi-final. It's their second semi-final out of 2 in World Cup history. Still yet to know who's going to host the World Cup in 1983. They were expected to make a announcement today, the ICC, or last night, but there's reports that New Zealand, who were the favourites, could struggle to host the tournament due to a financial crisis that's going on in New Zealand. West Indies have allegedly come in for a last-minute bid to host the 1983 World Cup, but it's reported that they won't have the infrastructure, and England are on standby so that they could host the tournament for the second time. I'm pretty soon for the second time, potentially. So, yeah, that's interesting, but England are victorious here by 8 wickets against Ireland. Tomorrow's match, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand for the second quarter-final. Until then, this is me, Lawrence Howard, here in Sri Lanka, reporting on the 1975-9 Cricket World Cup being played on Brian Lara Cricket on PlayStation. It's bye-bye from me.